I told you guys I'd be using the stump bucket in the next video, but the other night here, I was back here working, and was pretty tired of it being a swamp back here. It's always really wet because all of these houses, at least my neighbor's house and my house, I think one other house, they all leach back down this hill here. As you can see, my house is up on a hill. All these houses are on a hill, and my property comes back down a hill. So it's always really wet back here, and our leach beds, her leach bed and my leach bed, they both come out right here. So it's always running water right here, you know, just a trickling stream, and it soaks into this ground here and it makes it unusable. You know, this whole area back here is unusable as it goes down a hill. So last night I was back here and I had cleaned this trail out. I actually made all this trail. I cleared all this land at the end of last summer. I was just playing around on a tractor. I cleared this path here and I cleared a big circle back here, just trying to open it up, but it was so muddy that I actually let it regrow back in, because it wasn't even worth trying to maintain because it was so muddy back here. So yesterday I was back out here and I decided that I would dig the trench here and see if I can get some of that water to leach into this trench. If I can do that and this will dry up a little bit, I'll give it a couple days, and if it does, then maybe I can use this land. So I dug this just for a test. I dug it from here to there, as you can see. Not very long, but as you can see, it's already filling up with water. It's been a couple days now, and there's quite a bit of water in there, and the ground up here is so much drier. You can see the tracks. This was all like a rutted mess. I actually back dragged this a little bit with the bucket because this is all ruts right here, just from digging the trench out. And as you can see, it's already drying up a lot, you know, just from having that trench dug right there. So my plan is here. My plan was always to get an excavator in here. I was going to rent a mini excavator, and I was going to dig out the trench coming right out of the pipes here and dig it all the way back. But I never got around to renting a mini excavator. I always wanted to buy one, just never got around to it, didn't have the money. And like I said, the other day I decided to dig this trench in my tractor. It worked out pretty good. I'm thinking I'm actually going to be able to get back here with the tractor in towards where the drainage pipes are, and I can actually clear it and dig this trench with my tractor, because before it was just way too muddy in through here and I knew I'd never get the tractor in here to dig. But being that it was so dry, and especially after I dug this, now how much it dried up, I think I could actually remove some of this overgrowth here, get in here towards those pipes, and I can dig it out. Even if it's too wet, I can dig what I can, give it a couple days, let it leach into the ditch that I dug, and then I can come back here and dig some more. That's why I was going to rent a mini excavator for it, was because that's really the ideal tool for the job, because I could stay out here and I could use the boom and come in and scoop it without being, you know, directly into it when you're digging with your bucket. But like I said, I think it's dry enough now. So you guys might remember this area. This is where I dug another drain. It's from my neighbor's house over here that was on this land when I moved in, and her leach bed drains out, and it used to drain out just on the other side of this tree right here. It used to drain out, and I made a video on it where I dug a trench coming from there all the way over to here, and I had it leaching in where my other drain tubes are, you know, for my house and the neighbor's house over here. That way everything was together, because what was happening was she was leaching out over here and it was making this whole area impossible to even maintain. And as you can see now, it's nice and dry. Once I got hers moved back over here, I was able to actually clean this up and maintain this area over here, which is really nice now. So now I just have the issue of, you know, all three homes, maybe even four, coming out right here and leaching all the way down, which is making this area inhabitable. So the reason I bring that up is because I made that video, and in that video I made a berm. There's actually a berm here put here years ago to kind of keep the water flowing down the hill instead of flowing out into the yard over here. And I had repacked that berm in there after I dug it out to put that drainage pipe in. And I will show some clips of that, but in that video we rebuilt this berm, and you can't really see it because it's full of shrubs, but from here all the way out to the end here, this whole berm was put there in place to keep the water from leaching this way. So I want to start by removing all this berm, all this overgrowth with the bucket. We'll scoop it all up, we'll pile it over here where I've been piling the dirt from this trench. We'll make a nice big pile here, and once I get this whole berm cleared out, I'll be able to get the tractor in there and I'll be able to continue this ditch on, and I'll dig it all the way up to the drainage pipes. And that way the water can flow directly into the trench and out. So that's my plan. That's what we're going to be doing. As far as the topsoil that I'm pulling out, this pile here and whatever else we're going to add to it, I also own up on top of this hill here, and I've actually been wanting some fill because this comes right uphill, and over on the other side of this it's kind of like a drop off. So I would like to make it so I have a trail going down into that land back there. So maybe at some point I could use that fill, start pouring off the edge of this ravine here, and I could make like a nice little ramp, a nice little trail going down into my land over here once it's all dried up. Eventually I'd like to have this whole thing kind of go down and taper down, and in that way I could have this all usable land all the way back, you know what I mean? So that's the plan. That's what I'm going to use with the topsoil for the trench there. So let's go ahead and get going on this. It's already getting pretty late. The sun's going down. Summer's getting shorter and shorter. So let's get to work here and we'll see what happens. Alright guys, so we're making some decent progress here. You can see where the trench was where I started. So everything beyond this is what I cleared. And now we could actually see, if the sun gets out of the camera, the drainage pipes I was talking about. So this one is for my neighbor's leach bed, this one's for my leach bed. And then the corrugated pipe I installed for my other neighbor's leach bed that I was talking about used to leach right beyond that tree right there. We extended it in that one video, dug a trench, and this is where it used to come out at. So now all 3 leach beds are going to trench right through down the hill so that I can clean this property up and actually maintain it without having it be a mud pit. So now the plan is, since I've got this cleared and I could actually see all 3 drainage pipes, 1, 2, and 3, now I can go back to where I started this trench and I can continue that on all the way up until these drainage pipes here. I'm gonna have to be a little bit careful about this one because this one comes in at a different location. It's obviously a corrugated pipe, not PVC pipe. So I'm gonna try to dig around it and make sure that this is sloped down into the drainage ditch that I dig here. One of the reasons, like I was saying in the beginning, why I want an excavator is because typically over here, this was like a swamp. I mean, super, super wet. And usually it is, but because it was such a dry summer, I can get away with actually getting in here now with the tractor and digging away that berm that we had here without it being a complete swamp in here. So that definitely helped me a lot. And that's why when I got in here the other day and dug that trench and realized today how much drier it is back here just from doing that little bit, that I was actually going to be able to get in here and finish the trench off all the way to the drainage pipe here. So this is going to be awesome. And then all that berm that I just pulled out of there, that was quite a bit of topsoil, a lot of fill. It's a pretty big pile going here. So now I could use all of this plus what we got to dig from the trench still. So I'm gonna add a lot more to this, probably another half a pile like that. And then we could use that at some point in a later date to slope off this berm on the back side here, this little ravine. And I could slope this down and clear this so that this can be an extended part of my land coming right down, you know what I mean? And then I'll obviously continue to have this trail coming down this way, but it would be nice to have something right off the back end of my property so I could just drive right down here. So this is gonna be really nice. It's shaping up pretty good. I'm gonna get in the tractor now and continue on this trench. We'll dig it back to the drainage pipes here and we'll see where we're at then. Alright guys, well that looks a heck of a lot better than it did before. Much cleaner in through here now without all the shrubs and all that. I can actually see the grade of the hill here. I can grade this out real nice now. Now I can give it a few days here and hopefully the water that's left in the ground right here can soak into this ditch here and run its way down. Also, it's going to keep the ground from getting more wet because now we have a nice ditch coming right out from the drainage pipes. Boom, it'll flow right into here and come down. And you can see already some of these pools of water that have formed just since we started digging. All this right here, and then down on the end here, you can see where it's starting to pool up. This here is probably a couple inches deep at least. So eventually I want to continue that trench on, but for now, at least I'm getting this water farther back to where it's not in my way, you know what I mean? Because up here is where I really want to start working this land and cleaning it up and making it usable, you know? And then once I get all this cleaned up, I can work my way back till it starts getting a little bit soft again, continue the trench on, get the water away from the land, clear this land, and keep working my way back like that, you know? Strip some land, move the ditch, strip some land, move the ditch, and keep working my way farther and farther back, because I own 3 acres back there. And I'd like to open up as much of this land as I can. Now it continues to go downhill, so eventually I'm going to get to a point where it's just going to be too wet in general. But this is going to make a gigantic difference, at least for the land, you know, in this first half an acre or an acre. So it's going to make a big difference, and I'm going to have a lot more usable land now, so I'm excited. Didn't really take us very long at all. I don't think I was out here more than an hour. I don't know how long this video is going to be. Should be relatively short, I would think. You could see I dug around the drainage pipe that we put in a couple years back. And again, if you guys didn't see that video, I will link it right here in the corner. But this is where the drainage pipe comes through. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig this out with a shovel. I'm going to cut it off clean right here. And I'm going to let the water flow straight into the ditch this way, and then it'll go down. So I'm going to basically just cut it off right here. And I'll try to dig it down a little bit more because I think it got pulled up a little bit. So I'll dig underneath it, sink it down. I'll cut this end off, and it can just flow directly into this trench and straight down. So that's the plan with that. That's why I wasn't too worried about hitting this piece here, because all that's going to get cut off anyway. I'm just glad I was able to find it, you know, because I was a little bit worried about not being able to find that pipe if it got buried too much and then, you know, end up destroying it farther back. So I'm glad I caught it right at the end there and didn't really destroy it at all. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I will get you guys back out here soon. I'm probably going to work on clearing out a little bit more land over here, just kind of getting it prepped for when we use this fill here to start making a ramp down from this back side of this hill here down into here. That way I got a nice smooth transition, so maybe we can do that on video. Also, I would like to get a culvert pipe in here at some point. Once we get this ditch flowing really nicely, I'd like to lay a culvert pipe in here and make a bridge across here. That way I have a nice way to get across, you know, from one side to the other up on this drier land here, instead of having to go all the way back down here where it's wet and trying to work my way back uphill, because it gets really wet down that way. Just because it keeps going down and down, you know. That'd be another job we can do, and we still have a lot of stumps to rip out as well, so we'll make another video on that too. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you guys enjoy your weekend, and don't forget to comment, like, subscribe as always. We'll see you guys in the next one.